I'm going to be live until somebody does. I'm just sitting here working on my YouTube video. So there you have it.
My name is Miles Morales. I'm the one and only Spider-Man. At least that's what I thought.
Idiot, why is he all of this?
Dimension opening now.
You're like me. That's impossible.
All working together for good against evil as the Justice League of America. Hey everybody, welcome back. I've made another short compilation. Hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you at the new video.
Hey, is anybody there? This is my first live, so I'm just learning how to do all this. I'm sitting here making a video for YouTube, and this is one of my year-end compilation videos of the shorts that I've made. I figured you guys might get a kick out of that. Hey, what's up? I don't know how to write back. Let me try to figure this out. Or can I? I don't know. Everything's cool here. Temperature's great outside. It's like 65 degrees out, or 70. It's really nice. The shelf. Yeah. So I have the toys up top, my two vintage Banks, the Hulk, the Spider-Man. Those are from 1977. And then I have some robots, and I have a couple of Fugglers, if you know what those are, and just some cool stuff. So, yeah, it's my nerd shelf, as I call it. My wife calls it that too. But hey, you know, you gotta like some stuff. You gotta have some stuff, you know. Yeah, up top I have. Let me just move my camera around. I'll show you a little bit. This is new. This is my Haunted Mansion little lithograph. There's a guy that in town has a poster shop or a framing shop, and the lady died who brought this into him. So I was able to buy it just for the cost of the framing. Up here I have my USS Enterprise. Let's walk through here. You can see it. Now this is a Aurora model. I'm not good at models, so I bought one off eBay this guy had done, and it's in great shape. So, got my Lost in Space robot. Got my Homer Simpson figure from 1991, I think. Here's my picture of me and Stan Lee. And another hero of mine, Mel Blanc, sent me an autograph years ago. And here's my sleeve stack and my little art autograph by all the people from that show, Land of the Lost. So, yeah, that's my nerd stash. Stan Lee. Is that the Fuggler? Oh, I'm sorry. Stan Lee. Yes, I met him in 2013 here in St. Louis. He was at a show called The Wizard World. And yeah, they said don't touch the people. So what did I do? I just went up and grabbed him by the shoulder. And man, he was skin and bones. He was really skinny. And I'm the total opposite of that. Yeah, it was great. Stan Lee is one of my heroes. He just created that whole universe pretty much by himself, with the artist, of course, you know. But yeah, he was really one of on my list of heroes. I'll give you my list. This is no particular order. There's Stan Lee, Walt Disney, Mr. Rogers, Captain Kangaroo, and that's really all of my list of heroes from when I was little, because they all meant so much, you know. I don't know how old you guys are, but I was coming up in the 70s and into the 80s, and you know, you had all that cool stuff on, and you lived in the world, everything Walt Disney created. It wasn't so funky as it is now. You have all this, I call it hip hoppy stuff. I don't care for it. Yeah, Mr. Rogers, he is one of my favorites. He passed away, of course, but I think our country needs more people like Mr. Rogers and Walt Disney and Stan Lee and all those folks than what we have in charge now. It seems like they're trying to tear everything down instead of build everything up. But that's just my opinion. I don't get into politics. I just try to stay out of that world because, you know, it's crazy. But yeah. Favorite Avenger? You'd probably never guess this, but I like Yellow Jacket. Don't know why. I assume it's maybe just the cool costume, or he can shrink down. But one of my earliest issues was back issues that I bought was when the Hank Pym became the Yellow Jacket. If you ever read the story, he shows up and you don't know who it is. So it's a pretty cool story. But yeah, he's my favorite Avenger. I do like the Vision also, before he turned all white and crazy. I like the original interpretation of when he came into the Avengers. And yeah, he's a good character. My favorite issue of the Avengers with the Vision is when he fights Wonder Man. I think it's issue 159, I think, 157, 158, one of those, where the Vision gets jealous of Wonder Man, who is talking to Wanda, and they just have a huge battle. It was always one of my favorite books. A funny or Hi Ariana. A funny or embarrassing moment for you. I don't know what that means. A little AI sticker popped up. I don't have that. Um, but yeah, um, Avengers, they were always a favorite of mine growing up. I started when I think it was around issue 145, I think. It was one right before Hellcat became an Avenger. And I was introduced to that issue. In my town where I grew up, we had a store called the Dime Store. And you could go in there and they had a 3-pack of comics. It was a clear cellophane plastic bag. And all the comics, the 3 comics, had the entire back and front covers ripped off. So all he had was the interior art. So when I was a little kid, I would go in there and just kind of look at the pages. You can see the splash pages of the Marvel books. You know, it always says Stan Lee presents, and then it gave a little story. And then they had a bunch of those George Perez Avengers books in there. So that's where I fell in love with those. What's your favorite Avenger? Yeah, I love the Avengers. I believe, Spider-Man. Yeah, so I love Spider-Man. He was the first character that I really fell in love with. The first issue I bought was issue 157, which is Spider-Man versus Dr. Octopus. I don't know if you ever saw that cover. It was a 25-cent book, and it was a 3-part story. It was Dr. Octopus, Hammerhead, and Spider-Man all fighting. And Spider-Man was there, and there was an explosion, and supposedly Dr. Octopus and Hammerhead were killed. And then right after that, they came back as ghosts. Well, they really weren't ghosts. They were like transported to like kind of like a alternate universe type thing where you could still see their bodies, but they were kind of translucent. So everybody thought they were ghosts. But that was a 3-story arc in that series, and if you have a chance or can, you ought to check that out. Those 1970s Spider-Man are really dear to my heart. That's what I collect. And yeah. How old are you? Try to gather what era you collect from or read from. But yeah, Spider-Man's great. I love Spider-Man. I used to love the Hulk. Oh, 30? Oh, you're that's a good age. You're not too old, not too young. It's right in the middle. I wish I could go back to being 30. But yeah, I've been reading comics. This is my 50th year. I started when I was 8, and it brings back good memories. There was a store in town called Readmore. It was a bookstore, and I'm not from a big town, so this was a kind of nice to have a bookstore, and they had a rack of comics, and it was great. You know, I was like 7 or 8 or whatever it was when I first started. It's 1975, and it was great. And then all of a sudden, the store closed, and it was really, really sad to me. I eventually heard one of my mom's friends at the church, they were talking about it, and they were saying, yeah, we got that bookstore closed down because they were selling nudie magazines. So the church closed down my comic book store. You know, well, they sold all kinds of books, but that's why I don't go to church. I'm tired of their crap. So yeah, but yeah, Spider-Man, I love Spider-Man. The Avengers, I love the X-Men. No, oh no. I had, let me tell you that story. So this is going to sound kind of stupid, but we were in church, and my sister she tied my shoelaces together, okay? And it was right at the end of the service where everybody would get up and shake the pastor's hand. You'd walk through the church and go up to the front. And so I hopped. I hopped all around the front of the church with my shoelaces tied. And my dad got pissed. So when we got home, he took all of my comics and he threw them in a burn barrel and burnt them. So that was, I think that was a little, a little overboard there. That was a little heavy-handed. I would have rather just have it spanking or something like that. But yeah, he just burnt all my books. Yeah, my dad was a real asshole. Never cared for him. Yeah, he was alcoholic. He was abusive, and he could be nice when he wanted to be, but most of the time he was an asshole. And he's one of these kind of guys. Like, my mom and dad got divorced. I think I was like 16 or 17, and I really didn't have too much to do with him because he was ignorant. And the day their divorce was final, this random guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, I heard your dad got remarried," and the divorce had only been final for one day. It's like, who does that? So, but yeah, my dad, he passed away 10 years ago, and yeah, he really wasn't in my life. My grandparents were really supportive of me, and yeah, grandparents are great. But yeah, so that's I don't have those comics. I wish I did, because I would remember I had Spider-Man. I had War of the Worlds, which was that Marvel series that came out. I can't remember. It was like Marvel Premiere, or I can't remember what it was called actually, but the title of the book was The War of the Worlds. And Marvel 2-in-1 was always my favorite. Marvel Team-Ups, I love those. The regular Spider-Man book, the Hulk, that was great too. But yeah, I don't have those books, but hopefully you have all your books. Hopefully nobody burnt those. But yeah, that's life, Stuff happens. Can't control it. You just have to deal with it. That was like probably 49 years ago. I should let it go, but it still pisses me off. But but I use comics as a soothing tool. I could get an Archie book or a Spider-Man book at my age now, and just, if I had a bad day at work, I could just sit there and just go through the book, and it's a calming sensation to read a good book. I really don't care for the new books. I don't like the art styles or the writing. I don't like every page to be splash pages. Well, funny thing about my sister, she was my dad's favorite, and she never got in trouble. She got away with murder. She is not a nice person to this day. I don't even talk to her. But yeah, she was the favorite, so she never got in trouble. She always got rewarded, and I always am the one who got in trouble. But over the years, you could really tell a difference. My sister, she's 62 now. She's like 4 or 5 years older than me. 3 years older, I think, 3 or 4. And she's still the same. So I guess if you're born evil, you stay evil. But yeah, it is what it is. It was her fault. I was kind of just there and took advantage of, tied my shoelaces together. But what are you gonna do? It's a crazy day. But yeah, brings back memories. So tell me about you. Give me some information on you. Where are you from? Where do you live at? You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. I'm in Missouri. I live outside of St. Louis, and Wilson. Where's Wilson? Hello, Lorena. How are you? Hopefully, you're having a good Sunday. I'm having a good Sunday. My wife went up to see my daughter, and they're going to go out to lunch. So I am here all alone. Oh, North Carolina. I love North Carolina. I drove out to Statesville, North Carolina, and it was just beautiful country. It was awesome. Hopefully, I can go back. 67. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's nice here too. It's in the 60s. I think around, well, this evening, 4 or 5 o'clock, a cold front's coming through. It's going to drop down like 50 degrees. I think it's supposed to get down like 17 degrees or something like that. But that's the good thing about being inside. I can sit here and work on my YouTube videos, and I can, after I get done with that, I'm going to look at some comics. I've got some comics coming in this week. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I got 3 or 4 packages of comics coming in this week, so I'll do an unboxing of those. These are just some Archie books. They're not very expensive, but they're kind of unique books. I have a varied collection. I do kitty books. I like Uncle Scrooge. I like Archie. I like X-Men. I like DC horror, and Spider-Man is my favorite. And yeah, so I'll do a couple of videos on that. And I get a kick out of watching these guys on YouTube who do these videos, who have these like thousands of viewers, and they talk so proper, and they talk, they should be on a TV program or something. I'm not that way. I don't try to be fake. I'm just a country guy, and I just like to share my books and talk. I know I sound hickish, but that's when you're from Southern Missouri. That's the way it sounds. So I don't fight it. Yeah, it's great. But yeah, like I said, comic books, they're a therapeutic tool for me. I work in cybersecurity on my regular job, and it gets kind of stressful. So I can come home and I can read a book, comic book, or just anything related to comics, and it helps me, just relax, get all that stress out. And I hope that does that for you guys too, because life now is kind of tough. There's a lot going on with everybody, a lot going on in the country. So I think we all need that release. And for me, comics is a release. I just love them. I know I shouldn't love them as much as I do, but I don't smoke, I don't drink. So that's my vice, is my comics. I'm looking forward to, I saw a post on Facebook. I used to be into like reading the ratings of the comics, the top 50 of what the books were for that month, and somebody shared the latest like top 50 or top 100 comics, and there's hardly no Marvel comics on that list. I looked, and it's just a lot of DC. I'm a Marvel guy, so I like DC too, but Marvel is my priority. And I'm just shocked how much Marvel has dropped in popularity. It may be with there's no continuity anymore. It runs like 8 or 9 issues, and they start each series with the number 1 again. How are you supposed to keep track of what's what? I mean, If I was in charge, I would go back to the old ways. I would cut the price. Some of these books are $7.99, $8.99 a piece. What young kid can afford that unless their parents are super rich? Like when I started, a comic was 25 cents, and you could buy, you know, your parents would give you a buck. You could go buy 4 comics or whatever, and that'd be great. But there- hey, Nigel, how are you? What time is it over there? I think you're like 6 or 7 hours ahead of me. It might be time. You might be getting ready for bed. Um, but yeah, so comics, I think they're way overpriced now. I mean, who cares if they're on the slick paper and they're computer colored or inked or what? Who cares? You want comics for the stories. Put it back on newsprint. Make it cheaper for the people. Um, I can't. I mean, I make good money. I have a great job, but I'm not going to pay $7.99 or $8.99 for a comic book. My mama didn't raise no fool. I'm not. And plus, they have all these different covers. That's what killed a lot of the comics in the '90s was the glittery color covers and alternate covers and all this. And now I was just looking at that Superman and Spider-Man book that's coming out. There's like 12 different covers for that. Who wants to spend $100 trying to get all those books and all those covers? It's crazy. I don't know about you, but I like my money, and I don't want to just throw it away on some crappy cover. So um, I would much rather have a good story than have a superb artist. Um, if I want to look at art, I can do that online for free, you know. But the stories are what matters. It's just like the original Star Trek series. If you guys ever seen that, their special effects budget was really low, so they had like minimal special effects. But those stories were written by these great writers, and the stories still stand up. But you know, it's all in the story. Um, that's my opinion, but you guys might have a different opinion. But I don't know. That's just me. So Nigel, what do you collect? Just pop in there and let me know. I'm just sitting here. My wife's gone. I'm just wanted to do a live. I've never done a live before, and actually, I'm sitting here on YouTube. Or my video program. I'm making some new videos. I've done a lot of shorts in the last 2 or 3 months, so I put all those together in one long video, and it's like 40 minutes long for the one with the covers I do. There's like a little cover of the old books, and I added the custom music or a theme song to them. So I have one that's 40 minutes, and then I'm doing another video of all the shorts that I did where I just do a random pull from my box, and I just kind of riff about the cover and tell you what I know about it. So that one's like 30 minutes long. So I'm going to have those come out. And then, oh yeah, so I've actually bought some books on eBay. I was saying earlier I'm going to do opening boxes in a video or whatever. But I'm going to do a 4-part series. I already decided a 4-part series on some of the books, not the stories or the art, but the ads in there, because books now don't have these, but we have had you had the Marvel bullpen, you had house ads for Marvel, DC, Richie Rich, Archie, whatever publisher, they had their own ads, and then you had the Mego ads, you had the Hostess ads, you had all the different stuff. And for me, that's what I miss about comics now. It's just basically now they're just all story. There's no letter page. There's none of the good stuff that I used to eat up as a kid. I So I bought some stuff on eBay, and I'm planning on doing a 4-part series on a certain thing, and that'll come out probably. Well, I haven't got them in yet, so uh, I'm not really sure. It'll be in January, I'm sure. But plus, like I said, I have some more boxes coming in. Things were kind of slow here for Christmas because you have your here in the United States you have to pay your property and personal taxes in December. Plus, you have Christmas, so November, December are kind of a bad time to buy comics for me because um, you just owe so much money. You got to pay taxes on your house and everything. So usually in January, I kind of pick up and um, try to get back in the groove of things. I'll start doing some more pressing, and yeah, I like to clean and press. I've been doing that since 2022. I've learned a lot. I think I'm pretty good at it now. Okay, reprints are great, man. I love reprints. Um, Back in the 80s, they had Marvel Tales, 70s and 80s. They reprinted Spider Man, and then they had some X Men reprints. And they used to have, recently, they had at the grocery store, they had the digest, Marvel Digest size books. It was all reprints. And those are great. I love reprints. I used to buy those 100-pager DC comics in the 70s. They would have like one new story, and then the rest of the book would be all reprints. That's how I got introduced to like Golden Age Batman and Superman and the Justice Society was through reprints. Um, I don't know if DC, I'm sure they do. Do they sell digital downloads? I know Marvel does, but that might be a good way to get some reprints too. I personally don't like the digital books because I like physical because you own those, and you never know when something might happen where they say, well, you can't use these digital items anymore, or you have to pay again for them, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I just keep the physical. I like those. But yeah, are there a lot of comic stores in London? Like I said, I've never been there. My wife and daughter, they've been there twice. They love it. But yeah, I don't even know what a book cost over there. Over here, we had the pence versions back in the '60s and '70s. You would see like a book here cost 12 cents, and then you would see the English version. It would say like I think it was like 7p. I guess that's pence. So um, there's a lot of those here floating around. But yeah, those are great. Yeah. So it's Sunday, and it's 1 p.m. here. Um, just I wanted to try this live. I've never done a live before, so this is like an experiment. I hope you guys. It's like I have one person on. I had up to like 3 or 4. Um, this is great though. I like it. I like talking to you guys because, like I said in one of my videos before, my wife, she doesn't like comics. My daughter doesn't like them. So I have no one to talk to about it. So it's just me. But, yeah, it is what it is. That's life. But yeah, I'm sitting here working on a YouTube video, and I hope I can get some more viewers. I think I'm doing pretty good. I was reading about the YouTube algorithms and how they work, and And then I see these folks, they have like thousands of viewers. Like, wow, how do you do that? I mean, it's a great, YouTube is great. It's really opened up a lot of collectors to other stuff. Um, before the internet, before YouTube, cell phones, it was all basically uh, comic book stores, newsstands, or just like swap meets or whatever. There was no eBay. It was just all, you were on your own to find a book. And I I remember going through different grocery stores in my town. There were 3 small places that sold comics. One was called Quick Check, which was a little convenience store gas station. One was at Reedmore. I'm sorry, not Reedmore. Reedmore. And now these are new books. And Proffer's grocery store. They would all have books, and I was always begging my mom for money. So I would go there and get a comic book, and they were a quarter then, 25 cents. And those were great. Now, like I said, who can afford to buy comics now? You'd have to take out a loan to buy 4 or 5 books, man. It's just nuts. But, it is what it is. I'm not going to tear anybody down for buying new books. It's just, for me, I just don't want to read them. I don't like the way they're drawn. I don't like the digital coloring or all the computer effects they do. I like where they have like a page of art. Each little box that continues the story instead of just one big splash page. It's hard to tell a story in a splash page. I was reading something the other day. One of the artists said, "Well, you can do it. You just have to add more dialogue." But I think, in my opinion, that's the artist being lazy. You pay these artists to draw. Let them draw. I don't know about you, but I get tired of splash pages. I like art. I like the way the artists convey the action through the boxes. It's just a shame that all you do is see these large panels. I mean, the art, the artists are great. They're good, at what they do, but I don't really care for the splash pages every page or every other page in a book. I like the old fashioned one splash page in the front. You have maybe one in the middle, and then maybe a half splash on the last page. I just like to read comics that way. And I always wonder how do they write everything on a splash page? It must be kind of hard to convey the changes in action in one big page. But, there are a lot of talented artists out there. I don't know too many of the new ones. The last one that I really liked was Todd McFarlane on Spider-Man and the Hulk. I really haven't I stopped buying new comics. 1991, I think, 92. And then when for about 6 months, I was buying some new comics, and it was 2012. There was like the Avengers versus the X-Men books that came out and stuff. I was really close to a comic book store, so I would go buy those. And that was John Romita Jr. doing the art. So they were still pretty good. I don't like the way his art has changed over the years. He was really spot on in the 70s and 80s, especially on the Spider-Man book. He was still using that Marvel style. And then that Marvel style went out, and everybody went wild. They went to these crazy styles of art, and none of them matched the continuity of the books. You'd read one book, and it looked great, and then you would get the next issue, and it would like totally look different. Uh, I don't know. I just don't. I just don't know about these um, new issues, new comics. I think comics are dying. Um, I really wish somebody would be put in charge of Marvel that would kind of turn that around. Um, it's really sad, when like I said, I looked at that top selling list for this month or last month, and I just remember Thor being on there, and mostly it was DC. Even the reprints of like Wonder Woman #1 and all those were ranked higher than the new books. So that's the state of the comics, I guess. Um, it's very, very sad. And I really feel bad for the younger kids growing up now because they don't have a lot of this stuff that I had, and it was great. It was, you know, go to the rack, pull a book off, and then you have to go to a comic store. Nothing wrong with a comic store, but um, you have to deal with these crazy prices, and I don't know. I just like going to later on. I used to go to Walmart, and they had a rack, spinner rack. I just go through there and pull out what I want, and you'll be on your way. Now I don't know. It's just times have changed. I guess I'm stuck in the past, but I don't know. You guys have any questions for me? I like to ramble on, so um, hopefully, you guys, if you get a question, just hit me up. Maybe I should turn some music on. Yeah, I tell you what, in the background, I can play my video. Let's see where it's at here. That's the comic book pools intro I made. I looked around and people were charging a buttload of money to make video intros for your YouTube channel. I just made mine myself. I figured out how to do it. I mean, I'm not like it's not super nice, whatever, but it doesn't need to be. I like simplicity. Hey, I got 2 people on now. Welcome back if you've already been here. What's going on, folks? It's pretty quiet in here today. Just talking comics. Anybody got any questions or anything? I'm just sitting here working on a video. I've made some shorts when I first started my YouTube channel, and I think I got like 170 of them of covers, comic book covers. So I put those all in one video, one long video, and I'm doing the same for these shorts that I pull out of my collection. I just pull a book and do a random review. I've put all those in one video, so we'll see what happens there. I'm probably going to upload those. I won't do it today. I try to do one every other day or whatever, but I don't know. But yeah, it's fun. It's something to do. I was just looking at my collection today. Um, you guys know I'm a fan of Josie and the Pussycats. If you've seen my me versus CGC videos where I get some books, I grade them, send them in, and then I compare my grades to what CGC gave them. So I have several of the Josie and the Pussycat books. And for Christmas, I got Josie and the Pussycats, the complete series. This is the Josie and the Pussycats. So This has, I think it's 12 or 13 episodes. And I really like Josie and the Pussycats. So if you're not familiar, what is your favorite run story from X-Men? Uh, I would have to say I've got two. Okay, I do like the future what's it called? Days of Future Past storyline, X-Men 141, 1 and 142. I remember buying those off the rack, and that just blew my mind away. From John Byrne's art, Chris Claremont's script, and Terry Austin's inks, and then the coloring on that newsprint. It was just amazing. I think that's people's favorite. I like the that one, and then I like the right when the new X-Men came on, when Phoenix, Jean Grey, that story arc where Jean Grey eventually turned into Phoenix. I like that story. I like the Phoenix. I love Dave Cockrum's covers and his art back then. When he became on that second run after Byrne, I did not like that art. Rubenstein, whatever his name is. I don't think he was the right inker for Dave Cockrum. But yeah, so those are my two favorites. But I like a lot of the X-Men. I like the Inferno storyline where the Madeline, the clone, became the Goblin Queen. That was right when that was interesting. It stands out in my mind because it started out back when I was in the Air Force. I was stationed in an Air Force base called Minot Air Force Base in North Dakota here in the States. And I got transferred to South Korea. So I was at a point in that storyline where it took me 2 or 3 months to find out what happened. So that sticks in my mind, that storyline. I did like that storyline. I like that. And I like the issues where Cyclops quit the team and he went off on his own for a little bit, and he fought that villain Despair and Man Thing. Do you remember that issue? It had a great cover. That one sticks out in my mind. And then where Doctor Doom was in the X-Men. I think it was issue 145, I think. 144 or 145. Dr. Doom appeared, and they came back, and I think John Byrne retroed that, saying that was a Doom robot that really wasn't Doom. So I liked all those, but I like the X-Men. I like the original X-Men. I've got some of those books. I think I've shared those. X-Men I think is one of the better books. Even before they were really popular. My first X-Men book I bought off the rack was X-Men 138. It's the one where Cyclops is leaving the team. It's like a pink cover, and it shows the team sitting there, and it shows Cyclops walking off. I think he has like a duffel bag or something, and then in the background it has all the older issues of the X-Men series and as a background. So that's what made me get the book. So that was the first X-Men book I bought. And then after that, I think that was I was in 5th or 6th grade. And so after that, I would go to this flea market and I would buy the back issues of all the X-Men, all that I could get. And some were in pretty bad shape. I remember I try to get a whole. Well, I did get the whole 94 up to whatever issue I had or it was at that time. But um, in my other videos, I said I've sold 2 collections in my life. So my original collection, my dad burnt, and then the books I had after that until I went into um, the Air Force, got out of the Air Force, and then a couple years after that, I sold that collection, and then I started a new collection, and I sold that one. Oh, the Josie and the Pussycats DVD. Um, I don't know if you ever seen the show, but one of the cool things is I have an original background from one of the episodes. It's the episode where they go into, I think it's, I can't remember, but they're in like Saudi Arabia or Iran or Iraq or whatever, and they're going there to sing, and I've got it right here. So this is the original part of the original background. They trimmed it off, but so it's actually 2 parts. That's the background, and here's the topsail. So here's the road that they drive into the village, and you can see. Let's see. It says the Oasis Club, Josie and the Pussycats. So in the cartoon, it blinks on and off. But yeah, I've got this background. I need to get it framed. I've had it like 15 years. But yeah, that's one of my prized possessions. It's not worth too much, but I think it's cool. Yeah, I love that. But yeah, it's great. I love Josie and the Pussycats. I love Spider-Man. I love X-Men. Love the Avengers. I love Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I love Uncle Scrooge. I love the Hulk. Love Batman. I love the. I used to love the TV show, Batman from 1966. That when I was younger, I would just go home and I watched them in reruns, of course, and that really fueled my imagination. Um, just just love that. The Adventures of Superman with George Reeves. I love that show. That made me appreciate Superman. And then they had the Incredible Hulk show, and then they had Wonder Woman, and all those. I ate all those up. Um, it's a shame now that that they have some superhero shows on now, but they're so hyper realistic that it's just I don't know. It takes kind of some of the fantasy away. But everybody's different. Modern audiences expect that stuff. I don't really care for it. But here's another DVD that I got. It's not comic related, but it's one of my favorites. I got this for Christmas. It's It. This is a 2-movie set with Pennywise the Clown. Those are really cool. Yeah, so if you've seen Pennywise, the movie part 2, there is a scene at the beginning of the movie where these 2 guys are walking out of a carnival. I provided that music to the movie. I have a little music company that I have old timey background music. So I have my music in that It Chapter 2, and in that if you've been watching HBO recently, they have the Welcome to Derry show. I've had a couple of songs in episode 3 and episode 5 of that show. So I'm really a fan of It, Pennywise. So I do that. That's one of the things I do too. But yeah, it's great. just enjoying everything here. I like that, you guys like my videos. I like that. Oh, yeah. So I was lucky enough to meet in 1978 Burt Ward, who played Robin. He came to my town and he was doing a personal appearance. And he was in his costume. And I just thought that was the greatest thing. I can remember talking to him. I asked him where Batman was at, and he said he was out chasing Catwoman. So I remember that. I was wearing a little tank top with Superman on it. And he said, "Hey, I like your shirt." And I said, "Yeah, thank you. I wanted one with Robin, but I couldn't find one." So it's funny how you remember stuff from, oh my God, that's going on 48 years ago. And in 2002, I got to meet Adam West. He was at the Superman Festival in Metropolis, Illinois, which is Illinois' a state here in the country, United States. And they have a town called Metropolis, and every year they have a Superman Festival. And Adam West was there, so I got to talk to him and got his autograph picture and all that stuff. And Julie Newmar, Catwoman, was there with him. They were sitting there, and from the original Superman show was Noelle Neal, who played the original, or one of the original Lois Lanes on the show, and she was there. So they were all there together, so I got to see them all. And it was just like, man, it was great. But seeing Adam West there, when you see him in person, you see him on the show, and he's talking, he sounds pretty cool, but it's kind of surrealistic or surreal when you're in person and you can hear him talk, because it just kind of freaks you out a little bit, because it's like the same as William Shatner from Star Trek. I got to see him back in October, and I'll walk over here and I'll show you the picture of my little collection here. So can you see that? Let's see. Yeah. So I have my Mego figure there, and he signed it for me, and it's right there. And I have some other Mego figures here. I have my Star Trek stuff. But yeah, seeing him talk in person too, that was really surreal, because I grew up with him. Yeah, it was cool. Especially for when I was little. I was like 10 years old, met Burt Ward, because I was really into Batman then. They showed it all the time on TV. And even in my 30s, when I saw Adam West, I was really impressed. And heck, I've seen Shatner. This is my third time seeing him, and I still, when he talks, it's just, man, it just kind of gives me chills, to be in the presence of him talking, because he has such a distinctive voice and mannerisms and everything is pretty cool. But yeah, but for comics, Adam West was great. I've read some people had problems with him. He was rude or something, but they're people too, and I understand that. I don't know if you were on, but I showed my picture of me and Stan Lee together. He was at a convention called Wizard World here in St. Louis in 2013, and I didn't get him to sign anything. The line was really long, but I did want to get my picture taken with him. And I went up, and the people there said, "Don't touch him." So I kind of crept up and put my arm around him. And one thing I remember was he was like skin and bones. He was really frail, like the total opposite of me, because I'm a little overweight. But I remember I said, "Hey, now I can take this off my bucket list." And he goes, "Well, thank you," in that Stan Lee voice and everything. So I still remember that. That was great. And as I get older and I look back, I kind of regret things that I didn't do. opportunities to go to conventions or see some artist or whatever. But um, as I get older, it's like I'm not waiting anymore because um, you never know what's going to happen. It's you may not see your heroes. Think they're human too. For an example, there was a band called the Monkees. I don't know if you've heard of the Monkees. Back in 2013, I saw three of the four Monkees. They were in Nashville here and had a concert. It was great. And nothing could have topped that for me. And then they were coming to St. Louis in 2021. It was Mickey Dolenz and Mike Nesmith, the two remaining Monkees. And I was thinking, man, I've already seen them. I don't want to, nothing's going to top what I saw before. And I said to my wife, I said, let's just go. Let's go do it. So we went to the concert and we saw Mike. Mickey was great. Mike Nesmith came out and he looked like a dead man in clothes. He was horrible. He was in such bad health and he died like a month after our concert. So I look back and say, I'm glad I went. Don't wait. Things happen. If you have opportunity to see one of your heroes or somebody you want to see, do it. Don't put it off because you never know. So that's the way it was with Stan Lee. When I saw him, he was 80 something. And I was thinking then, like, man, this could be the last time he does an appearance. So I went ahead and I put my credit card down and bought the ticket and everything. And so, yeah, like I say, Stan Lee is one of my heroes. He was just so imagined, his imagination, he brought so many characters to the Marvel Universe. He created the Marvel Universe. I know the artists are important too, but when you think about it, it all came from his mind as a starting point. He's the one that told the artist what he wanted, how he wanted these characters to look, etc. I know Jack Kirby, he created like the Silver Surfer and some other characters. I get that. I'm not going to take that away from him. But overall, it was Stan Lee who did all that stuff. He's great in my book. I tell you, I was really sad when he passed away. I was reading about how people would take advantage of him, and they took him to a convention, and he was basically just sitting in a chair signing books, and it looked like he was just like totally out of it. And they showed one of the autographs, and you couldn't even tell what it said. I mean, granted, he is over the years, he does that quick writing of the autograph, but you could kind of tell what it said. But these later at the end, it was just a scribble, and it was so sad. People just take advantage of everybody and trying to get some money out of the deal, and yeah, it's just bad. I hope that some of these artists now, they can, creators can look at Stan Lee and kind of give him the credit that he deserves. He's like, in my mind, like I said earlier, Walt Disney, he created so much. Stan Lee, those two folks in my mind are great. They created the universes. Even Gene Roddenberry, who created Star Trek, I would put him up close to the top there. Not as high, but he created a big universe too. But yeah, I do feel bad for these comic creators now. I mean, they didn't grow up with Stan Lee like we did, and back issues. It seems like they're just like all about the hardcore anti-hero, all this fancy dark art. It's just not a place I want to be at when I read my comics. I want to have a good story. I want to have the art drawn that really progresses the story, and not have a splash page on every page or every other page. I think that's lazy artwork. That's laziness. But that's the way things are going. That's one reason I quit comics back in the mid '90s. That's what it was going to, and the artwork really was not as good, and the stories were not good. And I just said, I'm out. And I really haven't looked back. I mean, like I said earlier, back in 2012, I lived right next to a comic book store, and I was buying some new stuff then for about 3 or 4 months, and I just couldn't take it anymore, and I just quit. I haven't bought any books since then, and that's 13, 14 years now. But that's just me. I mean, everybody's different. I would rather go search a dollar box or some back issues and buy a new book for $8 or whatever. I don't see how these guys do it now. I mean, if you bought 3 books, that's like $25. Who can do that? Oh, Doctor Who. Oh, I like Doctor Who too. There is a channel here. They showed, I think it's BBC America. They were showing all the Doctor Who stuff. David Tennant's my favorite. Um, Matt Smith, he's a good one. After Matt Smith left, uh, it kind of went in my mind. I just didn't care for it. I um, I really haven't watched it. The last one I watched was it was a special where David Tennant came back. That was like a year ago or so. He came back as Doctor Who again. Do you remember that episode? That was pretty good. And Donna was with him. Donna's my favorite sidekick. And I guess he's still around somewhere in the Doctor Who universe. He didn't disappear or whatever. So he's around somewhere. But then they had the old guy I can't remember his name. He's old. I'm old, so I can call him old. The old guy, and then the woman, and then I'm going to be politically incorrect here, the black guy. And I don't even know who Doctor Who is now. Is it still the black guy or or what? I'm not sure. But I kind of lost interest with after Matt Smith left. I used to love those. And then years ago on our local PBS station, which is public broadcasting, they would show the original Doctor Who um, shows from I think these ones I saw were from like the 70s and 80s. They were showed those. So those are pretty good too. The Daleks, whatever you call them. Let's say Exterminate. Those are my favorite. Um, yeah, those are great. Um, there's one guy who started out when they started making new Doctor Who's here before David Tennant. I can't remember his name, but I didn't care for him either. But um, so my daughter, she works for a cruise line, and if you've ever heard of Comic-Con, it's the big comic convention in the United States in July. It's out in California. She works for this cruise line. They've partnered with Comic-Con, so they're having a Comic-Con cruise. And they are going to have the cruise in January, into February. And they're going to have some Doctor Who people on there. They're going to have, I can't remember her name. She was a sidekick. She had frizzy blonde hair. She was an astronaut, I think. She was in a spacesuit at one time. Oh, man, I can't remember her name. She's going to be on it, and they're going to have a lot of the props and stuff. It's officially sanctioned by BBC, so it should be pretty good if you're going on the cruise. My wife's going to go. She gets to go for free. So she's happy about that. She wants to see the one actor from Harry Potter played Lucius Malfoy in Harry Potter, the father. That actor, he's going to be there because they booked him. But she is excited about that, He was the father in that Peter Pan movie. He was the father in Hook. And then he was in a Star Trek Discovery in the first year. I can't remember his name, but he played Lucius Malfoy in Harry Potter. He's going to be on the cruise. Yeah, Comic Con cruise. I think this is the last year they're going to do it. She was telling me they didn't sell out, so they may not do it. However, they have a contract to do it, so I don't know if they can not do it. But they also do a 80s cruise, a 90s cruise, which are both musical acts are on the cruise from the 80s and then the 90s. And then they're doing a open seas rally. It's basically bikers here. I don't know if you have them in London, but here we have a lot of people ride motorcycles, and they have their own little subculture, and they're having this cruise to cater to those folks. And yeah, so my daughter, she doesn't like her boss, but she gets to go on these cool cruises. These are going to be the first cruises. She's going to go on 2 of those. Comic-Con in the 80s and maybe the 90s. So she gets to go on free cruises, but she's got to work, of course. But the good thing is she got my wife free on one of the cruises. And I only had to pay for a hotel room and the airline ticket down and back. And I've already done that with my points on my credit card. So that really didn't cost me nothing out of pocket. So I'm pretty happy about that. Yeah. So what's going on with you? How's London? How's life in London? I saw some pretty crazy videos. People tearing down a Christmas market, burning a tree, Christmas tree, and it's a shame you guys have to go through that crazy stuff there. I don't know if it affects you or not. But yeah, things are going good here. The weather's nice for a few more hours, and it's supposed to get really cold. I'm playing Bachelor today. My wife is up visiting my daughter. So this is the only time I can do lives, because if I was doing a live now, it would have got interrupted. So this is great. I hope you guys like my videos. Like I said earlier, I'm not like some of these folks you see on YouTube. They're really well spoken and well mannered, and I'm just a regular guy from the country. I don't have thousands of viewers. I don't make money from this. I'm just trying to have fun with it and share some of my memories that I have. That was the whole intention of this video or getting on YouTube, is to share memories, because memories are in the end of everything. That's what you have left. I mean, you got to have some memories, and I like good memories, and comic books give me good memories. Comics, my toys. Yeah, it's just, I was telling my wife, I like to be surrounded by things I like. I don't like drama. I don't like idiots. I don't like a lot of my relatives. I like to be here at home and be around stuff I like. And this is it. Let me show you a quick view here. I have my Spider-Man #1 poster signed by Stan Lee. And then I got, this is new. This is my Alex Ross villains lithograph. This has like all the main villains. And it's huge. It's like 60 something inches across or something like that. Look at that. Isn't that great? Yeah. Then over here I have my Star Trek the Motion Picture poster. Somebody asked me why I have this one, because it was probably the worst movie. I like the art. I like the way the poster is. Look at that, the colors and everything. And then here's my Oogie Boogie. He lights up. And oh yeah, over here is a Star Trek 5 poster. And somebody asked why I have this one, because it stunk. And I said, well, my wife gave me the poster, and I like the poster because I like the ship. I like the ship. My favorite spaceship. All right. Oh, man. Never done a live before. Hope you guys are enjoying me. I mean, I'm trying to keep you entertained. What's new in your guys' world? Anything going on? Let's see if I got anything else I can share here. I am from London, but have not lived there. Alex Ross. Oh yeah, Alex Ross is great. He lives up in Chicago, which is like 5 hours from here. Um, Maybe one day he'll do an open house, and I'll go see him. So if you're not in London, where are you living at now? I hope wherever you're at, you're safe. I know that there's a lot of problems in Europe right now, especially in Ukraine. Those poor folks over there just getting slaughtered. It's so sad. But what can you do? I mean, they're trying to get the peace plan going on, but I don't think Zelensky wants to give up any land, and I'm afraid he may have to stop the killing. But I don't want to think about that. I want to think about comics and fun stuff. The West County. That sounds nice. Is that where the king lives at? King Charles? I've never been over there. I'd like to see where the king lives. And like I said before, my wife and daughter have been over there. They've been to the Tower of London and the Buckingham Palace and all those little um, tourist places they could go as a visitor. They really like the seeing the jewels in the Tower of London. But yeah, I hope that you can come to the United States someday if you've never been. Everybody seems to like it. I mean, we have our problems, we have our differences, but it's uh, mostly a safe country. Everybody really likes each other. Um, I live in the middle of the country, middle of the United States, and I live in a town. I live right outside of a town called St. Louis, and it's okay here. St. Louis is okay. It's a big sports town. If you like baseball and beer, um, yeah, yeah. I bet the king has a lot of different residences. He doesn't have to worry about finding a place to sleep at night. I tell you that. Let me see. Let me grab something here, and I'm going to show you something. Something I saw at the store not too long ago. Uh, in the grocery store was a word search book. This is where you just find the words and you circle them. Everybody's seen these, but this is an Archie brand book, and each page has an Archie comic strip on the bottom. So every page there's an Archie comic. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I bought this. But this book, 144 pages, is $9.99. Can you believe that? That's crazy. They have some Archie ads in here. But yeah, so I used to buy the Archie Digest, and they have recently just stopped making those, and they only go to this size books, which are a little thinner, and plus they're more expensive. But Archie used to be really popular, on the stands and in the grocery store, and they've kind of faded out. It's kind of sad, but I don't know if you guys get Archie over there. I guess you guys just get the superheroes, or how do you guys do that over there? I'm not sure. Do you have comic stores? I know that there used to be a lot of comic book stores here, and they're closing up also. I guess it's probably because of the prices of these books. Who wants to, like I said before, who wants to spend $8 for a comic? And then you have to buy 7 or 8 of these other covers, these variants, these virgin covers and all that silliness. I'd rather put that money towards an old book. Yeah. Yeah, Archie word search. I bought that to actually do the puzzles to get off of any kind of social media or computer phone. I just wanted to sit there and focus on finding the words. I find that being in front of a computer, I work in front of a computer all day for my job. I work a cybersecurity type job, and you're always using spreadsheets, and you have to look at all these numbers, and it just makes your eyes hurt, your head hurt. So I bought this word search book with Archie there, so I could do the puzzle, and then I can read a comic strip also. That's kind of like knocking out 2 things in one purchase. You get the little word search and you get Archie. Oh, good. They have comic stores all over UK. Good. I just missed the days where I could go to like Walmart, which is a local store, retail store, or just a regular bookstore, and get a comic off of the rack. You can't do that here anymore. It's all either a comic book store or online. I see a lot of these people on YouTube. They go to these comic conventions, comic shows, and they pull all these books and everything. I really don't have an opportunity to do like a lot of these folks do for a couple of reasons. The main reason is I don't want my wife to see how much money I spend on comics. That's the main reason I don't go, because she would want to go too. Is that bad of me to say? No, it's not, because it's the truth. We've been married almost, my cat's in here. Come here, Bing. 1997 we got married, so we're going on 28 years. So yeah, the less she knows about my comic stuff, the better. Is that bad of me to say? Come here, Bing. There we go. There's my cat. That's Mr. Bingley. He's named after an English character in the Jane Austen books, I think. Mr. Bingley. This is my daughter named him. He's a good boy. He just loves to lay on your lap. Yep, Mr. Bingley, you're a good boy. And the second reason I don't go to conventions is because we don't have many here. And my work schedule is such that I really don't have times on the weekend to go do that. once in a while, maybe if they're close, but normally I'm just a eBay guy, Heritage, um, Comic Link. I buy them off um, um, the auctions. You know, um, sometimes you have to pay more. Sometimes you get good deals. Sometimes you don't. But in one of my videos, I showed some X-Men books that I got. The Heritage said they were fine minus books, 5.5s, and I got them in, and I only think one or two out of the 18 were 5.5s. Most of them were at least 7.0s and up to 8.5s, and I was very happy. So I sent the three best ones into CGC and got those slabbed. I know that sometimes you can be a big winner on these auctions, and sometimes you can be a big loser. I've been both. I've been disappointed, and I've been happily surprised by the books I got in. Um, I don't know. It's just I have fun with it. I like getting these books off the different auction sites, and I go through them and clean them up, press and keep what I want, and then I just basically just sell what I don't want. I can't keep everything. Nobody can unless you're rich here. So yes, we do have a Ollie's. It's about 2 hours from here. There's none up in St. Louis, but I do want to go to Ollie's. There's one in my hometown where I was at yesterday, which is 2 hours away. I didn't get to go to Ollie's. I had to go see my mom. But I heard some people got some really good books from Ollie's. Yeah, any place you can get some good books. I do want to go try to find some. The only problem is I'm usually too late. Everything's usually picked clean by the time I get to some of these places, so I get kind of depressed and don't even want to go. But sometimes I got lucky, you know. I got lucky. This was 7 or 8 years ago when I was in the Air Force, and there's a lady on Facebook Marketplace. She had some comic books for sale, and the picture was like they were like Yogi Bear and Flintstones and all the Dell and Gold Keys type stuff. You know, a lot of stuff most people don't want. They call it worthless or whatever. So I worked on this little base, and I went outside the base and got the books from her. And obviously, she was high on drugs, and she was like a crackhead, meth head lady. I guess she was selling these to get some drug money. I got a whole stack of books. It was like a paper bag's worth of comics, and I got some really good books. I got some Uncle Scrooge books. I got some that Dell Giant 48, which is the first appearance of the Flintstones in comics. I had a 7.5. It averaged up. Excuse me. It was about 75 cents is what I paid for it after averaging out all the books from what I paid her. And I had a 5.0 in that group, and yeah, I did really great on that purchase. That one book, I don't keep a lot of these. I think I sold that book for $600. That 7.5, and the 5.0. No, I'm sorry, it was a 4.5. It sold for like $375, something like that. So what I do is I get a bunch of books and I sell them, and then I use that money to buy something in my personal collection. But yeah, I get lucky sometimes. Especially if I put the effort into it and look for stuff online or Marketplace or whatever. I've been pretty lucky. Mostly what I see is overpriced new stuff. People think they have a book and it's worth $500, but it's only probably worth like $5 or something. You know, I'm sure you've seen all those too. I hope that I get some more deals in the future. I remember when I was a kid or trade fair. They call it the trade fair. There was a guy that had a bunch of books. I bought a Spider-Man number 129. It was probably in a very fine condition. I paid $5 for it. Today, that book would be, what, 16, 17, 1800 bucks. And I sold that with my first collection in 1990. I think it was 93. I sold that and used that money to pay on my house. But yeah, so things have changed. Hopefully I find some more bargains, you know. Hopefully these videos I make on YouTube will maybe the right person will see it and they'll contact me and say, hey, I have this Action Comics number 1 for $10. You want it? I say, don't move. I'll be right there. No, I don't think I'd be that lucky. I just saw that Superman 1 sold. It was a 9.0 CGC graded, sold for what, $9.1 million or something like that. Could you imagine finding something like that in your attic? Man, I'd freak out. Probably what would happen, I'd see it and die of a heart attack from the excitement, and some bum would find it and take it. But yeah, hopefully everybody has some pretty good deals. I can't complain. I've been pretty lucky. I look every day. I don't buy as much on eBay anymore because the prices are so high. People think that their books are made out of gold, and they're charging near mint prices for a book that's in like probably a fine, very good condition. Another thing I see is people can't grade. I see all these eBay listings like, I'm not a professional grader, so look at the pictures, you know, to determine the grade or whatever. And in my mind, that's lazy. Give it your best attempt at grading. I use that Overstreet guide to grading comics and the CGC book to help me grade, plus Overstreet. Yeah, the Spider-Man, that was a good bargain back then. I wish I had kept it. I sold it dirt cheap when I sold my collection. So I'm on my I'm on my third collection now. Sold the first one in 1993, and I paid some money down on my house. And then I was only a casual reader. And then in 2010, I can't remember now, I started collecting again, and I got a bunch of good books. I mean, Golden Age, Silver Age, and then I sold it all. I just said, I can't keep all this stuff, so I sold it, and then I instantly regretted it. So I'm back to collecting. I'm being more selective on what I get. I'm trying to only get keys or issues that I want. I think I have like 3,000 comics down in my basement. That's where I make my videos most of the time. And a lot of that stuff I would trade or sell. Because I'm at a point now, I just want to focus on keys and books that are important to me. I mean, a quarter book, and you know, it could be one of the most important books to me. I've got some of these Hanna-Barbera Marvel books, like Laugh Olympics and Dynomutt. I don't want to ever get rid of those. Those were good ones. I remember buying those when I was young. And compare that to some of these Superman books I have. I have some, they're not worth a whole bunch, but I'm not attached to them. I wouldn't even sell them for what they're worth. I'd probably just kind of move them. I do that a lot. I don't want to rip people off. I don't want to not make a little money when I do sell something, but I'm not one of these people that like people you've seen. I'm sure everybody's seen them. They just think their money or their books are made out of gold, and and what I get a kick out of, a lot of these younger sellers, they try to teach me about books. They try to, like, oh, this is first appearance of this, and it's going to go up in value, and like, dude, I've had this book 30 years ago. It hasn't gone up in value. It's actually went down. Just don't waste your time. You know, I mean, you know, with age comes wisdom, and I think I have a little bit on some of these books. I'm not a comic seller. I'm just a buyer, and I do sell stuff that I don't want anymore. Yeah, it's good times. Good times. Comic books are good. Like I say, it helps me feel good. Gets rid of a lot of the negative energy out there. Sit down and read a good book, Spider-Man book. You know, especially some of my favorites are the Marvel team-ups from like 1975, 6, 7, and 8. A lot of John Byrne, Sal Buscema books. They had some great stories like Spider-Man and the Wolfman, Spider-Man and Frankenstein's Monster, Spider-Man and Ms. Marvel, Spider-Man and Yellow Jacket, Spider-Man and the Wasp. Man, those were great. Yeah, you got to be selective. I don't know anybody who can just throw money out the window and buy everything. If they do, they're stupid. Or unless they're Elon Musk, who has so much money, it doesn't matter. But, yep, that's it. All right. I've been on here 100 minutes, so I think I'm going to log off, and I'm going to finish working on my 2 videos. I may put one up tonight and one up tomorrow. I want to do 1 video a day. I'm trying. Sometimes it doesn't work out. But all right. So I'm going to log off now. You guys keep coming back, checking out my videos. Check out my shorts, my long videos. And I appreciate your guys' support and taking time to stick with me. We all got to stick together nowadays. So, all right. I'll talk to you next time. We'll see ya. Bye-bye.